Alright, y'all, I'm back. It's me, resident supervillain, Mr. J. Washington, here with the episode 7 review of WandaVision on Disney+. Now, if you ain't seen this episode yet, by now you know the drill. Come on back, because it's going to be spoilers. It's the only way you can talk about this. It's so hard to talk about this non-spoilery. It's so difficult. It's extremely difficult. Shouts out to everybody on the internet who was losing their mind at midnight, if you're on the West Coast, trying to watch this, because everybody seemingly tried to log into Disney Plus at the exact same time and damn near crashed the server for WandaVision. That was hilarious. Everybody was like, yo, is it just me? Because we all kept getting the, yo, your internet speed is low and all this other thing. Everybody was like, yo, I paid my bill. Like, what are you talking about? So that was an interesting moment for everybody, but glad we got through. So we knew already this was going to be the Modern Family episode, excuse me. And the way it kicks off is Wanda, sitting in a chair doing the testimonial type deal, talking to the camera about her feelings and everything. We seen the clip about her talking about, sometimes you just expand the boundaries of the, alternate reality you created for yourself. So I'm not going to go bit by bit, but in the beginning, if you pay attention, you can hear the reporter say, "Welcome to WNDA, Wanda." Of course, everything's about her. But one of the other things is when we get the opening title credit sequence, the thing you have to pay attention to in each one of these since episode 1 is there is always something in there. There's always some type of message. There's always something unique that stands out. Last week it was listening to the lyrics of the song that was talking about the world and it's all an illusion and things like that. This week when you saw the different iterations of Wanda, in one of the messages, it was like the cutouts of different letters and from magazines and newspapers. It says, "I don't know what you are doing, Wanda." So I don't know if it's Wanda talking to herself or whoever's in control, right? So I bring this up because throughout the episode, when we see Wanda in her show, Wanda is going through, things are changing in the house. Again, we've seen this in the preview, so right? The house is changing again. It's going from different decades, and she can't control it. It's not stable anymore. And this is because of the breakdown she's now having. She's already had her nervous breakdown, if you will, but she's having a breakdown inside of a breakdown. And so at one point, the boys ask, "Where's their dad?" And she says, "If your dad don't want to be here, I can't do nothing about that." That's having her lose grasp on reality, right? Vision wakes up in the new carnival area. Darcy's part of the carnival. She's the escape artist. Vision has to wake her up. And she tells him everything. She breaks down everything that's going on, helps Vision understand and fill in the pieces. We even get, one of the crazy parts is, we get a backstory. Vision gets reminded of his origin, that he is from the AI code of Jarvis and Ultron tried to make him destroy the world, etc., etc. What's one of the things? Yeah. We finally got the reveal. We got the reveal, if you will, of who Monica's source was, and it kind of let people down. I don't think it let you down. I think it just was like, that got you real quick. It wasn't. In fact, it was not Adam Brashear. It was not Reed Richards, Hank McCoy, anybody. It was Major Goodner, and Major Goodner had been one of the soldiers for SWORD who had worked with her mother, Maria Rambeau, and they helped to design the vehicle that she needed to get into the Hex. Now, let's just jump forward. The vehicle that she thought was to get into the Hex could not get through the barrier. It seems as when Wanda expanded it, it got stronger than what it was. And the vehicle couldn't get through, and the vehicle was somewhat disintegrating, but it was changing, and then it got kicked out, and half of it was a pickup truck, and the other half was the rest of it. Well, at that point, you had Monica decide to go through it on her own again, and in that moment, we were watching the birth of Photon, or the birth of the next Captain Marvel, whichever one you want to call it. But you got to pay attention more specifically to some of the things that you can hear. You can hear her talking, young Monica talking to Maria. You can hear conversations with Carol Danvers. You can hear conversations with Nick Fury. One of the things you hear is, you hear Nick Fury say, "You're the most powerful person I know." And then you even hear, "You're the most powerful person I know. You're so strong," and this, that. And you see all this happening as the energy from the Hex is bombarding her. Her eyes go blue. And basically, once she gets through, it's the birth of Photon. She has on the sword suit. that is reminiscent of what we've seen in the comics. And so, we were under the impression, some people were under the impression we were going to get this throughout this season, right? The birth of Photon, or Captain Marvel, again, whichever one she becomes officially. But many others thought it would not officially happen until Captain Marvel 2, which she'll be a part of. So to see that already, what was great, because now it lets you know that she's going to be part of this big climactic battle, whatever happens at the end of WandaVision, which we find out later, after she comes in, we're starting to get more reveals. One of the things, too, I forgot when we talk about reveals, we get the reveal of Photon, Captain Marvel. I use the slash no matter what. We get the reveal of Agnes, who she is. Yes, everybody said it from jump. She's Agatha Harkness. We know it. Now, again, this is the MCU, and a lot of times they throw things in to swerve you. A lot of times they do go the way of the comic book lore. They do go the ways of, okay, so this is the story. This is what you know from the tales. This is where we're going to deviate a little bit, but then we may backtrack to it, if that makes sense, right? Now, there was something else I needed people to pay attention to. Some people might not have understood. The Nexus commercial, where, we have these different commercials that talk about, are you going through depression and anxiety and whatnot? And the catchphrase was Nexus, because the world doesn't revolve around you, or does it? This is also prior to that. We see Wanda doing another testimonial where the interviewer tells her, do you think you're getting what you deserve? And Wanda goes, you're not supposed to talk. Here's the key thing about Nexus. Now, everybody's thought all of the commercials that we've been seeing for these past 7 episodes have all been the Infinity Stones. Well, the 6 prior, shall I say, because it's episode 7, there's 6 stones. The 6 prior, yes and no. They seem like it, but they're different parts of it, right? Well, this one is because in the comics, the Scarlet Witch is a Nexus being. Now, if you don't know what that is from the comics, she's a super powerful being along the lines of Merlin, Kang the Conqueror, and a couple more, and like maybe 2 more. So again, this is just Wanda Maximoff, but we're watching the evolution into the Scarlet Witch. You find this out later with the reveal of Agatha Harkness when Wanda goes to the house, to Agnes's house, to get the boys and to talk to them. This is, matter of fact, let's backtrack. Monica comes to the house, confronts Wanda. Wanda, already pissed off knowing who she is, tries to throw her out. In the process of trying to throw her out, Monica's powers allow her to stand up to Wanda. And so, that's when you see Monica being a badass, like, yo, do what you gonna do then. But in the process with that, because I know there's a couple things I forgot. I'm going through my notes. In the process of that, what you see is all the fight is happening in the streets in the neighborhood of Westview, right? It is significant that all the major players, the people that have suspected parts into, are paying attention to this. You got Dottie watching, the messenger who's delivering packages. Remember, the messenger who's the mailman to different people throughout every episode. And you see Agnes looking out the window. She is taking care of the boys, which at one point, let me go back, while she's watching the boys, she's sitting there with Billy and Tommy, and Billy is like, I like it here. It's quiet. It's quiet. It's cool. It's just quiet. He said, and there's something about you. You're quiet on the inside. So Billy can tell something's wrong. He doesn't know exactly what it is. Tommy doesn't have a clue. But remember, Billy's hearing all these things in his head. Billy's abilities are kicking in. He's Wiccan, one of the twins. Now, if we go to the West Coast Avengers and all of that, they'll stay alone. But if they decide to really House of M this, where at the end of all of this, she doesn't have her kids anymore, then that would be also another catalyst into her going super psycho, if you will, and learning from Agatha the art of witchcraft, becoming the Scarlet Witch. Agatha more than likely will call her the Scarlet Witch now that we see it. We now know, we're starting to see the seeds plant through everything. One of the things I wanted to say when we go back, when the house was changing, different things were happening again. You saw the glitches. You saw the things with the decorations going from different ways. But you also saw the return of the stork with the red smoke, with the red plume of smoke. Now, remember when we saw that in episode 3, right before the twins were born, right? So everybody was like, yo, that's Mephisto. That's letting them know the demon is bringing the kids. Again, have to drop the Mephisto because cannot use Mephisto in China. Now, people are saying it could be Nightmare. Could it? Couldn't it? I'm leaning more now towards Dormammu because of everything that ties into Doctor Strange. Yes, Nightmare would work. I don't think the plume of smoke is Nightmare. Let me say that. I don't think the plume of smoke is Nightmare. I believe Nightmare might be a part of this now because we're showing too many key players who are somebody. Dottie, the messenger. We know Agnes is Agatha Harkness. Excuse me. We know that. We got that. That's locked in, right? So now there are other key players. This plume of smoke is from somebody, right? Also, we find out that with Agatha, when we have the reveal, it's been her behind everything pretty much that's going on. It's changing different things throughout behind the scenes, right? Throughout the entire series of WandaVision, which Darcy calls it to Vision. She's like, yo, I've been watching WandaVision, which we see the name because it's been on TVs, whatever. But there's a mid-credit scene. There's a post-credit scene, mid-credit scene, whatever you want to call it. But there's a mid-credit scene, and there's Monica Rambeau. After everything goes on, she's snooping around the house. She goes to the back and into Agatha's house where she sees, because again, when Monica and Wanda are having their confrontation, Agnes. Now I'm going to keep calling her Agatha. It's plain and simple. I'm just going to do that. Agnes comes out the house, stops her, takes Wanda, like, yo, you don't need to do this, blah, blah, blah. Before then, there's something important that Monica says. She says, look, don't let them make you the villain. Wanda says, I already am. We know what this is leading to. It's those small little lines and small little tidbits that are dropped that lets you know where the story is going, and I'm appreciative of it. Hopefully, I'm not rambling too much for y'all. I'm trying to get so much to put in the small, and that we got so much. So, when Agatha takes her, goes back to the house, again, later on in the mid-credit scene, Monica goes looking for Wanda, basically. When she opens the door to go, like, to the basement, through, like, cellar doors or whatever, Pietro shows up. Says, Snoopers gonna snoop. Here's what's unique about that. When we watch the reveal of Agatha Harkness and it shows she's been behind everything, one of the things we see is her in a picnic, like a picnic setting on the lawn in front of Wanda's house when Pietro shows up. Now, we've already assumed that Pietro is not Pietro. We don't know who he is. That adds also to the different players in the show. Dottie, the messenger, mailman, Pietro, the plume of smoke with the stork. There are different elements. None of these are good elements on top of that, all right? None of these are good elements. Now, is Pietro did Agatha make that as an apparition, a figment of her imagination that has, everything that she needed to have? That could be. That could be. Oh, yeah. Here's what I wanted to go back to that I didn't mention. Jimmy Woo gets the email from Darcy about Cataract, right? Now, Cataract says he was trying to bring Vision back online, okay? Cataract, Vision, same thing. But also, a cataract can cause you to have gray vision or double vision, two visions. Now, Hayward wants his sentient weapon back, which is what SWORD stands for, right? It was a reason you needed to know that in the very first episode, why they were calling it sentient weapons. Hayward wants his sentient weapon back in Vision, right? In the process, Hayward is going to create another Vision, aka Wonder Man. If you remember an interview, Jack Schaefer, the showrunner, who was phenomenal, give her all her flowers did, there is a picture of Simon Williams, Wonder Man, behind her. And everybody's like, why is that there? What is that about? He'll be a part of this. Now, I keep saying now, because there's another part when we first see where SWORD is retreated to 8 miles outside of Westview, you hear Hayward talking to his first lieutenant. I can't remember her name. Please excuse me. He says, are we ready to go online? Let me know. Do we have everything? We're ready to go online. It's not for SWORD itself to go online. He's getting ready to activate his Wonder Man, his gray vision, his other vision. So what may happen is again, I'm taking an educated guess. He may make another Vision. He's been studying it, which is why he took Vision apart. Because remember, in Infinity War, Vision wasn't destroyed, taken apart. He just had his forehead ripped out. So Hayward again was trying to bring him back online, figure out how he worked and things like that. In the process, he's going to probably make that Vision, the other Vision, whether it be Gray Vision or whatever, will see somebody and take that form. Possibly. It's a possibility. But more than likely, Cataract is letting you know we are getting either the Gray Vision or Wonder Man. One of the two are coming. One of the two are coming. But again, still not the ultimate bad guy. Be the antagonist for the series, if you will. I think one of the antagonists, one of the main battles. Remember, we got 2 episodes left. I'm just trying to figure out all the elements of who can be who, because I recently, did I have it sitting here right in front of me? Yeah, I'm gonna grab these for you guys. There it goes. That's one. So a bit of reading material I've been doing to make sure I was still caught up on this, as well as remembering stuff I've learned long ago. Checking out the Visions. If you have not checked out the Vision, the complete collection, this is when Vision decides he wants to have a family, right? He has a wife, 2 kids, whole bunch of crazy shit. House of M. This is the main thing a lot of people have been talking about consistently. House of M is where Wanda creates this alternate reality. The twins are born, but one of the big things in House of M is at the end she says no more mutants, right? So a bunch of mutants throughout the world lose all their abilities. Maybe only a handful, 1,000 or 10,000 only have abilities. Those are 2. There's another one, the Scarlet Witch and the Vision. I bring all this up. These are all different elements. Now again, House of M, no more mutants. We don't have mutants yet. We don't even have a Scarlet Witch yet, technically. But I say, let's see where we're going. I hope I covered everything. The Gray Vision, the Monica Rambeau, who is Dottie. I've seen some theories that Dottie is Emma Frost. I think, quite honestly, I'm not 100% sure, unless what I think happens with either a Charles Xavier or Eric Lyncher or Eric Magnus, whatever we want to call him, appears at the end of episode 9. I don't know if we're into mutants just yet, but again, this tease, this Luke Skywalker level cameo. Again, it's got to be a Charles Xavier or Magneto. It's probably pretty much 2. A Reed Richards. Everybody keep believing that Reed Richards is the official engineer that is working with Monica Rambeau, and that Major Goodner was just, again, somebody to help deliver the goods, if you will. I'm still saying we can have Reed Richards, we can have Ben Grimm, we can have Adam Brashear, we can have Riri Williams. There's a list of people we can have. There's so much that in 2 episodes that we still have yet to get. And the beautiful thing about this is, again, it's one part of a story that goes into another part that we're stuck waiting until 2022 with Doctor Strange into the Multiverse of Madness. As far as, again, the players, Mephisto, take it out. Take Mephisto out. Leave Nightmare in. Add in Dormammu. Maybe even add in Baron Mordo. Because again, we go into Doctor Strange. Just mentioned. So it's a whole bunch. Hopefully that did something for you. Because I've been having fun with these, man. I'm loving where this is going. I love the fact that a lot of people have been asking, yo, I need them to reveal this and reveal that already. And again, anticipation, anxiety, and angst, and all this at once. We've forgotten how to watch TV. I've seen articles say it, and it's the truth. We've forgotten how to watch TV where we used to watch our favorite shows, and a week later, we had to wait a week for our next episode. We'd be stuck on a cliffhanger. This is TV again. We're so used to the MCU being a long movie, and all we got to do is wait for another movie, but they've been making us hang on after 30 minutes, and I'm cool with it. So I want to know what you think in the comments below. All right, go ahead and like this video. And if you're a fan of what I'm saying and everything and all the other reviews, subscribe to the channel, please. Go and do that there. Check out some of the other videos on the page. I reviewed all the episodes of this. I reviewed Black Lightning. I have the catch up on Batwoman. I have my trailer reaction to Mortal Kombat and so much more. I even do this thing called 1-on-1 with the supervillain for my patrons who are on my Patreon at my $25 and up tier. And so you can check out some of those videos also, all right? Follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Mr. J Washington, MRJAY. You should you know how to spell Washington. Check out Blurs in the Hood every Tuesday and Thursday with myself and Winston A. Marshall, 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. on the East Coast. We talk about pop culture news, sports, comedy, entertainment, politics, and a whole bunch more from a Blurs perspective, and we are unapologetically black. And check out the Mad Titan podcast. Everywhere you get your podcast from, I get you caught up on all the things happening in the Marvel and DC live action and cinematic universes. It is Barbershop Talk for Nerds. Come on in the convo, all right? I'll holler at y'all later. Take care. I'm out. Bye.